I just want to say bravo to the cast of this Kingdom film. Now, usually I write a little something in the description, but I had to come to you all with this one, okay? Because this is a lot to unpack, but let's start here, okay? So the wife of Ade has a soul tie, and the result is bitterness, resentment, and all that towards her husband. You know, insecurity, all of that, to name a few. And so I wrote a message I'll bring in the new year called Pursuing Predictions. And under the series, I speak on the importance of receiving clarity before you share a dream or vision. And this movie depicts that perfectly. The movie shows the danger of releasing what you've seen prematurely and coming up in your own mind and concluding the interpretation without prayer. Is also a lesson to those who have people come to them sharing dreams and visions. Don't allow pride to creep into your heart. There is nothing wrong with saying, I don't have an interpretation and I have to pray about it, okay? Don't just say, oh, that sounds bad, or this sounds like this or that, because some symbols, some things that we see, even the people we see in dreams, aren't even representative sometimes of their selves. So another thing to remember is that even if the interpretation is accurate, it is a warning. It's exactly what you thought it was. God will never, ever, ever tell you to handle things in a carnal way or with lies and deception when you're dealing with something that has been shown to you in the realm of the spirit, which is what one of the characters did in this Kingdom film. Although she didn't have any malicious intent and she thought she was protecting her son, her response was fear-based. Bringing me to another point. Never make any decision out of fear. You need wisdom, the wisdom of God, to navigate the next steps when you see or hear something. You need to go back into prayer and ask God what you should do. You should ask, how do I bring such sensitive information to this person, even if it's your child, okay? If a parent receives a revelation or vision concerning someone their child is courting and desires to marry, the situation should be handled with care. The first thought should not be, I gotta break this up. If this person is not the right one for your child's life, you should pray and ask God if He wants you to release what you heard or saw, or if you need to pray that He open their eyes. Because let me tell you, not every child can handle this kind of information. When people are entangled in their emotions, it's like a knot that must carefully be unraveled. And sometimes that takes a personal revelation. That's why we should always pray and seek God before getting serious with someone, because this can cause a wedge between parents and children. If the child has always done what they want to do and they never listen to you, then you already know that they may not have the capacity to receive what you've seen. Okay, not every child is the same, so it takes some wisdom. Some may tell the person that they're seeing what you said. And what makes it worse is if they continue with the relationship and marry. The spouse will have bitterness towards their in-laws. So sometimes it's wise not to say anything, to put what you saw in the hands of God, to pray that, God will open their eyes. Now, if it's a warning and a sense of urgency, and there may be some kind of wicked agenda, then you still have to pray on how to talk to that child, and also urge them to pray. This is why it's essential to teach your children to have a relationship with God that involves seeking Him before all major decisions. You also have to step back and allow your child or children to make their own decisions. You have to pray that God confirms that He orders their steps and that they will choose based upon His will and plan. It can be hard seeing your child make decisions that you have warned them about, that they're going to have to suffer the consequences for if they don't hear to that warning or instruction. But God made them a free will agent. So continue to be their intercessor, but never manipulate them through what you see, even if it's accurate. Another point I want to make, although there's so many, is that incorrect interpretation is just as bad as false prophecy. It can ruin people's lives. And as it relates to the movie, how things were done left Tomike with pain and unanswered questions. It also affected the son. And a great lesson in that was your parents can't be your God. When you were a child, you're taught to honor your mother and father. But when you become an adult, you have the right to make your own decisions. You are not dishonoring your parents because you marry the person you want or because you take the career path you want, prayerfully, that God has ordained for you. All right. So this is a great lesson for natural and spiritual parents. All right. Because we hear in part, we see in part. And you have to trust God with your children. This affected Harmony, the character, because although he moved on with his life, it was based on deception. And then when he saw his ex again, he now was grappling with the guilt and the shame of leaving her in the way that he did. So now he felt in debt to another woman because he caused her pain. It's a lot to unravel, but they did an amazing job of breaking these things down. And I love how the wife ministers to this woman who is still emotionally attached to her husband, which took a lot of maturity. I also love how the spouses intervene and Tomike's husband powerfully intercedes in prayer, which truly requires compassion, mercy, and forgiveness. I shed tears on a few scenes because they gave this everything they had. This woman, you could tell she felt cheated when she heard the truth of why he disappeared. It was almost as if maybe the lie she believed was better. She felt like she was living in the wrong version of her life because of this one instance. And some people actually feel like the one that they were supposed to be with got away, or someone came into the picture and stole their happily ever after. It is true that in some situations, people have used manipulation and demonic prophecies, or misinterpretations to alter the destiny and plan for others out of selfish reasons. The enemy tried it with me, but I thank God for my relationship with him, because the truth is that all things work together for our good. In the movie, the wife tells her ex-husband's ex, something powerful, and I don't want to give it away, but it's about knowing God specializes in ensuring that the plan he originally intended for our lives cannot be thwarted by Satan, and it will be manifested according to his will. He factored in the lies, the deception, and whatever life she thought she missed out on couldn't compare to what God had blessed her with. She needed to understand that the best was yet to come. See, it's a danger to be stuck in yesterday because it causes you to be ungrateful and discontent with what you have today. It causes you to be blind to how God is blessing you today, and it keeps you paralyzed and not able to move forward and look towards the future. I believe that this movie is a blueprint for many to heal, to make things right, to repent, and to redirect their focus on their spouse, and most importantly, God, to start that healing journey. I pray that those who never received an apology would understand that what God has for you is for you. And he has a plan for your life, and it doesn't end with a man. It doesn't end with a woman. It's not determined upon any human relationship, but it's dependent upon God, and nothing can overthrow the prophetic future God has for you. Healing is available. I pray you enjoyed the movie and share some insights that you received in the comments. Until then, share this and bless someone else.